The committee of parole is readjourned at Dixon Correctional Center. With the staff at Dixon, please introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, board. Dusty Bickham, warden.
Donald Cavalier, classification manager.
Jessica Joe, administrative coordinator.
James Wesley, deputy warden.
Ashley Bradley, records.
Alvin King, chief director.
And that's it.
You got all your troops with you, Warden.
Yes, sir. That's how we do it.
Good. With the offender, please give your full name and your Department of Corrections ID.
Gerald Hatton, 436982.
Thank you, Mr. Hatton. My name is Alvin Roche. I will chair your panel this afternoon. To my left is Chairman Cheryl Renaza, and to my right is board member Bonnie Jackson. We will compose your panel this afternoon. Let me explain the process to you. We will read some information into the record. Once that information is in the record, we will conduct a parole interview with you. At the appropriate time, we'll give Warden Bickham a chance to make comments, observations, or remarks. And then we'll give your guests an opportunity to make a statement on your behalf. And hopefully I don't mispronounce too many of these names, but we have your sister-in-law, Yanelle Mueller, that would like to speak. Joanna Mueller, your fiance, that would like to speak. Miss Kelly LeBeau, and your aunt, and your mother-in-law. Okay, you got a mother-in-law, a sister-in-law, and you got a fiance? Okay. And we have your mother-in-law, Miss Isabella Mueller, and she will not be speaking. At the very end, before we vote, we will allow you to make a statement on your behalf. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm
Mr.
sorry, you're gonna go.
Yeah. Mr. Mueller, for a fifth felony offender, you're presently 42 years old. Your parole date was July 17, 2017. Your good time date is October 19, 2025. And your full term date is July 17, 2026. You've earned 390 days good time, and you're incarcerated for a variety of drug offenses, and you will feel as a habitual offender on one of those charges, possession with the intent to distribute marijuana, and you receive a 12-year sentence. Is that information correct?
Yes, sir.
Your case has been assigned to Mrs. Jackson. Please answer Mrs. Jackson's question.
All right, Mr. Hatton, before we get started, are you married?
No, sir. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
You don't have a mother-in-law or a sister-in-law. Maybe you're looking to the future.
I
That
got a old lady, but I
Oh,
guess
you don't have an old lady. Oh, no, sir. You do not have a.
Disrespectful. You have a fiance, you have a
I have a-
significant other.
I have a significant other. I'm sorry, ma'am.
Yeah, I don't, don't call somebody in your life an old lady, okay? As you said, that's not, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you served on this charge, Mr. Hatton?
9 years.
Has it been 9 years already, or is it approaching 9 years?
It's approaching 9 years.
Your fifth offender, most of your convictions have involved drug activity. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You obviously have a substance abuse problem, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you hesitated a little bit. Do you think you have a substance abuse problem today?
No, I don't, but I can say it contributes to my situation that I was in. I can
Okay,
say I'm
Miss-
getting better as I go along.
Okay, Mr. Haddon, what is a drug addict? In your mind, what is a drug addict?
A drug addict to me is a person who don't care about what they do, just trying to get what they trying to get high.
Okay. Well, again, when I look at your record, were you a drug dealer or were you a drug user?
I was a drug dealer.
Did you ever use drugs?
Yes, ma'am. I use marijuana and painkillers here and there.
Did you use heroin?
No, ma'am.
Did you use cocaine?
No, ma'am.
Did you use alprazolam?
Yes, ma'am.
So you use marijuana and alprazolam, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
But you say mostly you sold those drugs, correct?
Yes.
Why were you involved in drug dealing?
I wanted my own, and I grew up around it, but it was a bad situation. I made the wrong turn. I really didn't have to do it, but like I said, I just wanted my own at the time, and I got attached to it and stuck with it.
So, I've looked at your disciplinary write-up, and you've had 6 write-ups, and all 6 of them have been either for intoxication or contraband. You want to talk to me about that? Let me pull up your disciplinary record. I'm concerned about someone who says they don't have a substance abuse problem, and yet you've had multiple write-ups for intoxication and contraband. So how do you explain the fact that you've been, let's see. In 2019 and 2020, you had 2 write-ups for intoxication. You remember those write-ups?
Yes, ma'am.
What were you intoxicated on?
Marijuana,
Synthetic or real?
synthetic.
In May of 2020, you had a contraband write-up. What was the contraband?
They found a little stick under my sheet, a rolled joint under my sheet.
And drugs. On May, also, you've got the 14 on that day. And I guess the intoxication was not only did you have the joint, but it looked like you've been using it. That's why they wrote you up on for both intoxication and having the joint. And then on July 24th of 20 or 22nd of 20, you got a contraband. That was in July of 20. What was that contraband?
It was a cigarette but they had dismissed it in a board at the court because they
I'm
said,
not showing that. I show you lost 30 days of good time. That was on, that the hearing was July 24th of 20. And you got 30 days loss of good time.
yes.
Yeah, that wasn't dismissed. Yeah, that
Alright.
was, Mojo behind the photograph on your tablet.
Oh, and a tablet. Oh, yeah, they had found, see, that's another, they found somebody's tablet on my bed, and his tablet had a Mojo stick behind it.
Mhm.
And
And
then,
then on August 2nd of 20, you got a write-up for intoxication. What was that about?
same thing with the synthetic marijuana.
Well, Mr. Hatton, my problem with you is this. You sit there and tell me you don't have a drug problem, and every write-up you have is related to your possessing or using Mojo. You came up for the board. When was the last time you had a parole hearing?
In 19,
July 17th of 19. Is that right?
yes, ma'am.
And you were denied because you had gotten, a write-up. I mean, you were denied. And then you took some substance abuse programs, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Took Living in Balance in 2019, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you complete it?
The same year in 19, like around November, something like that.
But obviously you didn't get a lot out of that program because you got, 5 write-ups after 2019 for either intoxication or contraband. You had gone through Living in Balance, and then you went right back to smoking Mojo. That concerns me. Did you go to the STAR program?
Yes,
When did you go to the STAR program?
the same year in 19.
And did you complete the STAR program?
I completed it, but they had some kind of hold up, and I had to stay in there for 2 weeks, and I wound up getting in trouble again, man.
Or would you get in trouble for in the STAR program?
For 14.
So, Mr. Hatton, the institution has given you every opportunity to address your drug addiction. And you haven't benefited from that. You don't even recognize that you have a problem. You say you're not an addict, you're not a drug addict. And yet you can't stop smoking Mojo. You've done Celebrate Recovery. Looks like you were in the STAR program. You did relapse prevention. After you completed the program, you did 3 months of AA, and yet you still go back to using drugs.
Talk to me.
Oh, what you saying, ma'am? That was the classes. That's after all that you saying. I had got clean after all that.
Well, I don't,
I ain't get in trouble since 19.
Mhm.
got 3
Since
right
20.
up.
Since 20.
When did you complete the STAR program?
In 19.
Okay, if you completed the STAR program and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 write-ups in 2020, how can you say you stayed clean? You know, Mr. Haddon, we could let you out, we could do that, but you'd be back.
No, ma'am, I won't.
Yeah, you will, because you're not ready, and you don't even recognize that you're not ready.
Ma'am, I won't.
You don't even know that you have a problem. You think you're not an addict. So you haven't learned the things that you need to understand. And once you have an addiction, that's with you for the rest of your life, and you've got to deal with it for the rest of your life. But you don't even recognize that you have a problem. And our job isn't just to let you out of jail. Our job is to make sure that you are equipped to stay out. And I'm just not saying that you're ready to stay out. I think you still need some long-term substance abuse treatment. Warren Bickham, what can you add?
Good afternoon, Ms. Jackson. He's a complicated case, and we've gone through it with him. And, you know, drugs has been his issue. He hadn't been getting any other trouble, you know, that is out there except for drugs. And since 20, he's actually stayed clean, or at least hadn't been caught, I told him, but he hadn't been in any trouble since 20. But like you said, get kicked out the STAR program, finishing up right at the end, and then getting in trouble with it. Yeah, he's not a bad guy. He's respectful. He has drug issues, and I wish some of our program would help him a little more.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Hatton.
Yes. Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Hatton,
Yes, sir.
the reason why you're sitting in that chair is because of you. Let me remind you, on July 17, 2019, I voted to release you. And the other two members of the panel voted to release you. You had been granted your parole in July 19, and all we ask that you complete a long-term substance abuse program, complete anger management, and complete thank for change in July of 2019. But Alvin Roche had to sign a rescind order in January of 2020 because you had committed a disciplinary write-up in a process of doing what we told you to do. You can't get out of your own way. You have been granted. All you had to do was do the things that we asked you to do, but you had a Mojo write-up. And you've had 3 or 4 of those write-ups since. There's no way in the world that I can vote for you because you have to correct the defect within you. And your defect is the addiction to drugs. And you don't even recognize that you have an addiction. I just had to remind you that you have been granted. Because of your own actions, you're still sitting in that chair. Madam Chairman?
I have no question.
At this time, we're gonna ask Ms. Yanel Mueller to make a statement. Ms. Mueller? Unmute your mic. Yes, ma'am.
So, Yes, I just want to say that Gerald is a good guy and his kids really need him and really miss him, and he'll have a lot of support out here to keep him on the right path.
Thank you, Ms. Mueller. Thank you, Ms. Mueller. At this time, we would like Ms. Joanna Mueller to open her mic to give us your presentation.
Hi, I'm Johanna. I just want to say that I'm Gerald's children's mother. His daughter's right here, Lacey, and I have his son Gerald, and he's a great father. He was a wonderful father, and the substance abuse or any problem that he had, we would make sure that he wouldn't get on those wrong tracks or the wrong path or anything. That we will make sure he is here to help with his daughter and his son to continue raising them. He hasn't seen her since she was 4 months old. So we was just waiting for his release so he can at least continue to help raise the kids before they're too old.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate the statement and your attendance at the hearing.
Thank you.
Mr. Hatton,
Yes, sir.
would you like to make a brief final statement?
Yes, sir. I appreciate what you said to me, but if you can give me some help, like I said, I can admit that I'm an addict, but if you can give me some help, I can need it. I can use it. Because I'm trying to get out this situation as fast as I can. This is great.
Mr. Mueller, I can't help you today, but I'm almost sure Warden Bickham, Dr. Warden Bickham, to get you the help that you need.
Okay, thank you.
You have a good time date in about 2.5 years. So you have time, because our objective today is when we release you, we want you to stay out. And you will not stay out 3 months until you commit a crime involving drugs and you be revoked. It's a matter ready to vote. Mrs. Jackson.
Mr. Hatton, it's clear to this entire panel not ready. And if we were to release you today, we would be setting you up to fail. Your family can't keep you straight. It's not their responsibility, nor can they do that. That has to come from within you. You're not there yet. And so because of your lack of rehabilitative services, as far as substance abuse is concerned, need some more substance abuse treatment. Because of your disciplinary record, my vote today would be to deny.
Mr. Nazi.
Mr. Hatton, I know this is the outcome you or your family have hoped for today, but I do agree, based on your past criminal history, the need for intensive substance abuse treatment, my vote today is to deny. Good luck to you, sir.
Mr. Hatton, you need to do some soul searching. You need to do some reflection on yourself. And you need to get the help that you need. Your family needs you at home, but you're no good because you still have an addiction to drugs and hadn't addressed that addiction. For all the reasons mentioned by my co-members, I deny your request. You'll receive 3 votes to deny your request, or your request has been denied. We're going to stand adjourned at our Dixie Correctional Center. Time is 1:54 p.m. One victim, thank you for facilitating. It's always a pleasure to see you. There's a smile on your face.
Thank y'all so much. Good seeing y'all as well.
Okay, so let's unpack that, right?
Go right up.
What we do. It's interesting looking at, he's like bent over and ashamed, kind of looks like a broken man, but then at the end of it, he snapped up and looked pretty youthful. And then he like hit his hand like he was disappointed, which is, I mean, like, come on. I don't feel bad for him at all. I feel bad for his family. The board really said it best. I mean, he got every chance. He was someone, what's helpful about this hearing from an educational point of view, in my opinion, is I think we've learned quite a bit. I did, at least. One is that, when we watch hearings and we see that, okay, hey, you'll get paroled if you complete this program. Well, it's not a given that you'll complete it. I mean, in his case, it looked like he was about to complete it and he messed up. And then what we've learned also is that if you, and maybe we knew this already, but seeing it is a little different. If you want to not be sober, you won't be. So there is something that we have to give, I think, credit to the inmates that do remain sober. It is a check mark, right? When they say, hey, I can get stuff in here. And a lot of inmates do. He just can't stay sober. And he can't admit that he's a complete addict. I mean, he knows he has a parole hearing. He just can't help himself. And those are only the times that he's gotten caught. And then he lies about it too. It's on his bed, but it was someone else's. I mean, come on, man. And his mental state makes me, I don't know what he's like sober, but it doesn't seem like he is. He just seems to be his brains seems to be totally fried. And from what I've seen, Mojo will do that to you. Mojo is no joke. It messes you up. So again, I don't feel bad for him. I feel bad for his family, but I do wonder, someone who is just so heavily addicted that with everything on the line, your freedom on the line, you're in prison, your family's on the outside, and you just can't stay away. And it's funny because he described an addict as someone who will do anything to get the stuff, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's giving his freedom for some mojo. He's one of the bigger addicts I think we've seen on this on these hearings, and he just can't admit it. And someone like this, you would think just the only way he's going to get better is he just needs to get tired. He needs to just get sick and tired of doing what he's doing, get disgusted with himself, and then stop. It is what it is, right? I'll let you go with that. See you on the other side.